Hey, welcome back to the Ready State, part 3 of thinking about programming to challenge position. Now, again, there are lots and lots of ways to challenge position. We can make you do one skill, then make you do another skill, challenge that. How you end up in that position matters. Well, one of the ways that we can challenge position, besides the obvious ones of load, making it heavier or adding more volume, right? Let's do another set of 100, is we can change what's going on with the limb versus open and closed. So we know, for example, that I think, I can make this statement, I don't think your shoulders are healthy unless you can jerk. What does that mean, right? Well, it turns out when we say open chain, what we mean is usually I'm stable and I'm pushing something away, right? That's an open chain exercise. And a closed chain exercise like a push-up, where I'm stable off the ground and pushing away from the ground, right? So my body's moving in reference to the load. So we think that we want our athletes to be coordinated enough to be able to handle these open chain and closed chain loads in their normal training, right? It's a way of adding diversity and novelty. And hey, no wonder we love the handstand as like a skill for children and for adults. I mean, like, what do you mean you can't kick up against the wall and work on breathing there? That's a great closed chain overhead position, right? Pull-ups are a closed chain overhead position, right? It makes sense that we actually have to not always just have something in our hands. Well, one of the things that we start to see then, if we want to challenge these positions, is if we add this open and closed chain simultaneously. What am I talking about? Well, jerking again. So if I'm going to press something heavy over my head, open chain, it's heavy, suddenly becomes closed chain, moves back to open chain. A lot of what we're doing when we're asking people to absorb force is, can I push and pull as I'm going up and down cycling or skiing, grabbing someone and pushing and pulling to be able to manage the loads. If I'm wrestling, MMA, football, the handlebars are a great example on a bike of being competent in open chain, closed chain simultaneously. Sometimes I'm moving, sometimes the bike is moving. And the idea here is, man, I need that fluency. Well, enter Olympic lifting. No wonder the Olympic lifters build such competent athletes. Look at the gymnasts. Being able to manage the load in these multiple planes is very, very powerful. And what we're saying is that a simple way of doing that is adding, being able to open the hip and close the hip simultaneously, like in a power movement. And I don't even have to expose your massive range of motion, but there's a reason why the muscle snatch is such a great exercise, but the power snatch is really the queen for me of one of the exercises we use for shoulder health, because it exposes this joint to this open chain, closed chain system simultaneously. Or in the language of the Ready State, we call that category 3. So again, in the movement variety that we have, it's great that you can do push-ups, it's great you can bench, it's great you can do push-ups on the rings, right? Training open chain, training closed chain, great, but when we have to do them simultaneously, we get a lot of bang for the buck. And suddenly you understand why people love some of these push-outs that we're doing on the hinging or the landmine kinds of ideas, is that we're able to integrate some of these issues into more robust positions. Because ultimately, the thing I care about is not that you're super strong and super fit, but that your positions do not wobble.